Welcome to Court Beacon TV, where we shine a light on justice, stay informed, and stay empowered.
So she started the following Monday, and from night and day, she never cried, never threw a tantrum, never nothing. It was just a smile, goodbye, Miss Nora. And she had a little, like a lovey blanket that she would carry. And I didn't care, she carried that. If they're comfortable, that's what they need. And never had any problems, never cried at drop off, pickup. Even the last time that she was picked up, bye, Miss Nora, see you tomorrow. The same little routine every single day.
A mother's unwavering belief in her son. The courtroom waited for her answer to one simple question. Did she believe her son or the young victim?
9658, State of Texas versus Manuel Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
John Kuntz and Megan Enriquez for Mr. Martinez.
And are you Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea on April 26th to the offense, the lesser included offense of indecency, with punishment to be assessed at a cap of 8 years. And the state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication. There's Chapter 62 registration and no contact with the complainant. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any
No.
objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And any witnesses, state?
No, just argument, Judge.
Any
Just
witness?
one witness, Judge, my client's mother, but before we even get started, I submitted some additional letters to the court this morning. I gave a copy to the prosecution as well from family members and former teacher and things like that on his behalf.
All right, any objections to the court reviewing those documents?
No, Your Honor. Mr. Kuntz provided them to me, and the state has no objection for the court's review.
All right, court will review the documents. And defense, call your first witness.
Okay, Nora?
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record, please.
Nora Elizabeth Martinez.
All right, defense.
Thank you. Good morning, Nora. Make sure you speak up because the judge has to hear everything, but also the court reporter is transcribing everything that we're saying, okay? Who are you to Manuel?
His mother,
Okay, and what do you call him?
Meme,
Mehmet? Okay, and how old is Mehmet now?
19.
And let's talk about what sort of child Mehmet was. Tell the judge what sort of kid he was.
A clown, a perfectionist. He strived for a 100% in math every single year. And even when graduating, he was in pre-cal and calculus. He just wanted to do better than everybody else and outperform to make me happy, because I was a strict mom as far as grades. If they got anything on a C, they were grounded. It was A and B shift the whole way. There was no excuses. I wanted better for my boys. I have another 17-year-old. So that was just my rules. It was like, you either get an A or a B or you get grounded. And it was a very tight ship.
How many children do you have?
2.
All right. And so Mehmet is your older child. Now, how old was he back in the spring of last year, 2021? Was he 17?
He had just turned 18.
Okay. And how long has he been locked up now? Was he locked up in early August?
Correct, about a month shy of a year.
All right. So he's been in custody now at the jail for almost a year.
Correct.
Now, you and I have discussed, we've had numerous phone conversations and we've discussed some more this morning about this whole situation involving your son. Obviously, this is especially personal for you, not just because it's your son, but this allegation involves someone that was at your daycare.
Correct.
Let's talk to the judge about the business you used to have and things like that.
I've been in development since 1993. I did go to school for my basics for RN. I didn't like the program. I always came back to children, always. And went back to get some business classes and kept with my TA classes, teaching assistant classes. And I opened a home daycare in August of 2016. Not at this residence, but at a prior one. And I was very successful in it because my heart's always been in it. And that's what provided our roof over our heads, everything, and what my kids needed.
Did you ever have any indication that Mehmet was going to cause any problems with any of these children?
Never. He was either at practice for whatever he was doing, for example, robotics, chess, wrestling. He was a very good prospect to go to state last year. And he quit because he wanted to help me pay bills. We moved out on our own and everything. We were doing really good with the daycare and everything. And weeks before qualifying for state, he quit. He went to talk to his coach and said, I have to quit. He's like, you can't do this to me, because he was retiring that year, his coach. And he's like, you can't do this to me. We're so close. And he's like, I have to help. My family comes first. We're at a totally different spot in our lives. And my brother and my mom come before wrestling. And wrestling was his life. So the coach was like shocked. And that we had different,
If you had any indication that your son was causing any problems, whether it was physical or something with these, would you have had him working or being around any of these children?
Never. Let me give you an example. My other son had stolen a small car from Walmart. He told me when we were in the store one year, and as we were, they thought we were leaving. I told him to put the toy back, of course. As we were leaving, there was a police officer on duty at Walmart. And I said, excuse me, can I have a couple minutes of your time? And he was like, sure, what do you need? And I said, my other son just told me my son was like, and I have pictures of it because I took pictures of them. I got the card of the police officer and I said, if I don't stop you now, this is not something for your future. So, like we've just spoken, the law is the law. There's rules in place for everything. And I would never put anybody, because that's been my biggest fear since my kids were little. Because it's just part of society.
And your son has denied these allegations.
Correct.
He has denied them. He pled no contest. He did not plead guilty. He pled no contest, which is saying, Judge, I'm not saying I did it. Do you believe your son?
I do, for the reason that home daycare, I don't have a backup. Okay. It's me, myself, and I, so I'm always home. I'm always there. My home, the present home, is the same one. It's an open concept. You look here, you can see there. I mean, you turn around. And the furthest I would go would be the garage, which I measured my steps. It's 19 steps to throw my trash in the garage and 19 steps back to that same location of my trash can in my kitchen. So that's the furthest I would go without even, if someone was, I couldn't see behind me. Of course, I don't have eyes behind my head. But then I'm walking back, even in my living room, it's all open concept, so it's like, I have to be there, because I'm responsible and I'm the one that was registered with the state. And I strive to be 100% with zero deficiencies on every single inspection. And I'm very proud of that.
You obviously knew, was it Emmeline, is her name? Emmeline?
Her nickname is Emmy.
Okay.
I don't remember the full person.
Okay, but Emmy is the complainant in this case, correct? And so she was at your daycare?
She had started with me in early February, before the freeze week. She was having a lot of problems at her daycare center. She was throwing a lot of tantrums. She didn't want to go back. There was a huge turnover at her church daycare.
Prior to coming to yours?
Prior to coming to me.
Right.
So mom reached out to me. I know mom since before he was born, from Harlingen, because we're from Harlingen. They were originally from Corpus. They got moved down there because I was working at Time Warner Cable. And that's where I met her. Then, of course, we parted ways and everything. Facebook came on and, hey, I know you, whatever. And then she had a marketing degree, but changed it to teaching. And she's like, she's having a really hard problem. She's clinging to me. She's crying. She makes our hearts break when we leave her at daycare. This went on for about 2 to 3 weeks when the parents said, this isn't working. Something's going on and we need to pull her from daycare. So they came and toured the house. They called a couple of times, asked a lot of questions. They came and toured the house, and then they told me, we'll get back to you in a couple of days. They were not even home when she was calling me. She's like, we're going to go ahead and register her. Can she start the following Monday? I said, of course. So she started the following Monday, and from night and day, she never cried, never threw a tantrum, never nothing. It was just a smile, goodbye, Miss Nora. And she had a little, like a lovey blanket that she would carry. And I didn't care. She carried that. If they're comfortable, that's what they need. And never had any problems, never cried at drop off, pickup. even the last time that she was picked up, bye, Miss Nora, see you tomorrow, the same little routine every single day. So yeah, no, there was never. But prior, yes, because she had that for 2 to 3 weeks at the old daycare. But once with me, no, she had no tantrums and nothing.
So we're here begging the judge to place your son on probation, right? Do you think he will follow the rules that the judge requires?
He doesn't have a choice because he knows the morals and everything, how he was raised. His support system from me, from his brother, stepfather, and our community, and everybody that, that we still are involved with and everything. He can be very successful. He was supposed to start college at Northwest, just 3-4 minutes from the house last fall, so he missed this whole year. So I was a year behind. So most definitely he will be successful because that's his goal, to go back to school. He was already registered to start and everything before he got arrested. We're a goal-oriented family, so we're here, do or die, and we're going to support him, and he will be successful because that's who he is. He wants to be.
Okay, I have nothing further from you. The prosecutor may ask you some questions, and we'll go from there.
I just have a couple questions for you. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you do not believe that your son committed this offense?
Correct.
And so you're looking at really everything through that lens, right? That he actually didn't commit this, right?
Correct. Not as mom lens, but as a person who he is. Now, I'm not saying nothing could have happened to her. If something happened to her, I understand that. But my residence is not the only residence she went to. And that weekend before, she was in Corpus. They were in Corpus that weekend before. The reason I remember that is because on Friday, Mom picked her up early because it was
Okay, and I'm just going to stop you right there. It's kind of simple for me in the sense of either you believe Emily, as you called her, or you don't believe her. So it's fair to say you don't believe her.
I don't believe that my son did this to her.
Okay. I have no other questions.
All right, any
I have
follow-up?
nothing further.
All right, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the court had a chance to review the documents that were submitted by the
Wonderful.
defense. Any other witnesses from either side?
No other witnesses, Judge.
All right, state to your post.
Yes, Your Honor. And just, I know that you said it was a cap 8, but I think it's just an 8.
No, it's 8,
Okay.
just 8.
And so obviously we are opposing his application. We're looking at the time of the offense, this defendant perpetrated on, and now is taking depression medications. If you noted in the PSI that this victim is already at the age of taking Zoloft. She's maintained her outcry. There's no issues about her credibility or consistency. And she even provides details about his name and what he calls it, and even what's consistent with what Mom testified to today. I understand that but this victim was very, this would have been from a touching to we're talking about a super aggravated sexual. So we could understand the gravity of this case and something that this, as noted in the PSI, it's going to be dealing with for the rest of their lives. And so, despite his youth, I think the court has to consider the youth of the victim on this case and the effect that it's had on her and the egregious nature of this offense. And so, based on all of that, we're asking that you deny his application and sentence him to 8 years in prison.
Defense.
Judge, kind of two things I'd like for you to look at. First of all, if the court believes that he committed the crime, then we look at what is the appropriate punishment. At the time this offense was alleged to have occurred, he was a high school senior in his spring semester right before graduation. You've heard he has no criminal history. He has a great family support, all this sort of stuff. Under normal circumstances, even if he had committed this crime, this is someone who's sort of in the range of possibly the court considering deferred adjudication. Having known you for many, many years, Judge, having known you to be a defense attorney, a prosecutor, now a judge, I know that you've seen all sides of these coins for many, many years. When we take into account the fact that he denies this offense, that the state was kind enough to reduce this offense down and allow him to enter a plea with a possibility of deferred adjudication, even though we discussed many, many times, both with him and his family, about the prospects of possibly going to trial and maybe trying to fight this case, he decided that he suffers from anxiety himself. He's very, very nervous today. He's been shaking all morning, and it's obviously been a very nervous and uncomfortable time for him and his family. We would ask you to look at the big picture, Judge. And this big picture is this young man is denying that this offense occurred. We understand the state's position with regard to this complainant. We understand that this complainant has said some things. But remember, Judge, you've been in this job for a long time in all facets of it. And when you're dealing with witnesses this young, sometimes they are mistaken about things. Sometimes they do point the finger at the wrong person. Sometimes they do say things that are maybe exaggerated, perhaps. So based upon all that you have in front of you, Judge, given his wonderful family, his mother's just, just a wonderful human being, and I've gotten to know them quite a bit over this last year or so. And we would respectfully ask you to give him the opportunity to prove that he can do okay on your deferred adjudication. He's not going to break any rules. You will never see him on an MTR. This is not the type of individual who's going to have any problems on probation. And because he is so nervous, Judge, that is why I chose not to call him as a witness. It's been difficult communicating with him this morning. He understands what's going on and stuff, but he's very nervous. He's very scared. Based upon all that, Judge, please give him that chance.
All right, so I just want the record to be clear. He is not requesting a jury trial.
He is not requesting a jury trial.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to deny your application, find you guilty. There is to be no contact with the complainant, Chapter 62 registration, $1,500 fine, time and money to rank and current, and the court will sentence you to 6 years in the prison. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement and actually I've given you something less than what you bargained for. You do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And counsel, I did take into consideration his age and everything that I've read in the PSI report. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand? If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
A defendant asks for deferred adjudication, but the judge has a different plan. What the court heard next changed the entire outcome of the hearing.
According to the plea bargain agreement, she pled no contest to count 2 of the indictment. She applied for deferred adjudication. The state is proceeding only on count 2 according to the plea bargain agreement. Punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison, and the state is silent on the defendant's application. The court requested that the defendant's criminal history be provided to the court. There were no objections to the court receiving that from the state. Is that correct?
Correct.
And any objections to the court reviewing that?
No, Judge, of course not.
Right. Thank you, state. All right, the state is silent. Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, of course, Ms. Torres is hoping you'll grant her application for deferred. She's in self-employed cleaning houses. She has several customers that rely on her. She has a few kids. She's just asking for the court to maybe direct her to some outpatient treatment because she believes she needs some help with this problem. And other than that, again, she's just hoping you'll grant her application.
All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Missy Torres, Missy Ann Torres.
All right, so you're going to get drug tested today. What are the results going to be?
They will come back positive.
Positive for what?
Methamphetamine.
All right, so how often are you using meth?
I only do it when I'm under stress, and I did it because I could get denied for adjudication, so
I'm sorry, what?
I could get denied the application, so I just kind of was I just do it when I'm under stress, so I know I have a problem, and I don't do it like around my children. I don't do it, every day. It's just when I'm under stress and I was really scared, and really under stress. So I don't do it when I go to work. I don't do it every day, like I said.
All right, so how many children do you have?
I have 3.
What are their ages?
11, 8, and 5.
And where are they now?
2 of them are with their dad, and 1 is with my grandma.
All right, with your grandmother, so their great grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Do you help take care of your children?
Yes.
How
I-
often?
I see them every other weekend and, I don't pay child support, but I pay them. My exes and, I have my daughter. My daughter is, with me.
No, you just said your daughter is with the
Yeah,
great
but I
grandmother.
live with my grandmother, this was it.
All right.
So I help take care of her. She
All right.
helps me take care of her.
Okay. So one, I don't think it's appropriate for you to be cleaning houses
Okay.
because of the nature of this offense. And two, I don't think it's appropriate for you right now to be taking care of your children.
That's why I'm asking for help, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
That's why I was asking for help, Your Honor. That's why.
All right, your help is not going to be outpatient treatment if I grant this application for deferred adjudication. So you're going into custody today.
Okay.
All right. So it's just a matter of what I'm going to do with you. I will tell you the court's issue, and if you want to address this, I know the state is proceeding on count 2 of possession, but she had a lot of drugs with her.
No,
So I don't understand if you're working homes, then why do you have a scale with you? Because that's, according to this, you had drugs, you had a scale in your purse, and there were baggies totaling 32.0 grams.
well, Your Honor, I was a heavy user back then and it was.
Oh, I tell you what, I don't think, and if I'm wrong, correct me. I don't think you were using 32 grams of meth.
It was, only 28.
No, you have meth here for 4.964 grams, and you also have meth for 27.459 grams. And what you pled to in count 2 was a possession 4 to 200 grams. So this is not a possession 1 to 4. So we're talking about 27 grams. And according to the stipulations, that what was found in your bag, it says, I searched her bag and inside a Paris Hilton makeup bag box were baggies, a scale, and crystal-like substance inside a cut vacuum sealed bag. That's from your Paris Hilton makeup bag.
So what I had, the meth was it was double bagged in a sandwich bag. So yes, ma'am, I know it was 20, but it's because that was my personal. I didn't have any other. And last time I went, they tried to only give me which was 14 grams. So I had to.
No, what I'm telling you is, they said the baggie found in Robert's pocket tested positive for meth and had a field weight of 6.12 grams.
That wasn't mine.
No. I'm not saying that was yours. So the 6.12 grams that were found in his pocket, they're saying that was his. It was in his pocket. But the baggie, which was found in Missy's purse, tested positive for meth and had a field weight of 32.09 grams. Now, mind you, what they do in the field, I already know that testing drugs in the field are not legal for court. So I'm not considering the weight and what they said in the field. I'm considering what has been given to me for laboratory reports. So this was the professionals testing it, not a presumptive. And it says 27.459 grams was the net weight of the meth that you had in your Paris Hilton bag.
Yes, Your Honor. And I will say that I used to use a whole ounce within 2 to 3 days. So I was a heavy user and like I said, they tried to give me half of that the last time. And right now it's going for $250. So if I'm paying $250, I wanted the whole thing. I wanted to make sure. I'm just being honest and I'm sorry. Excuse me for being.
No, I
transparent.
want you to be honest and I want you to be transparent.
I'm sorry for being transparent, but it's something that I feel like I worked for my money and I didn't want just to get gypped again. I can promise you I didn't sell anything. It was because I've been gypped many times. So I did get it. Now it was double bagged because I don't know, that's the way they gave it to me. I can't, and it is my mistake and I'm taking full responsibility, but I wasn't selling drugs. I have a job and back then I was, a heavy user where I would just do it before work, after work, and I didn't have my children in my life. Now I do have my children back in my life and I'm trying to be a good mom. So I thank you for giving me an inpatient program.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm going to give you
I'm
inpatient.
sorry.
What I'm saying is that you're not walking out of this courtroom today. Either you're going to be going to prison or either you're going to be going to inpatient treatment. So it's very important that you be 100% honest with me, because I'm telling you, the state proceeded on a possession, but the amount of drugs you had and the way they were packaged, that's concerning for the court. So you're saying that you just bought a bunch of meth and you were saving it up for use?
So I would use within 2 to 3 days, that was all my personal. Like I said, they tried to sell me half of that one time and I went back to the same person, but I said, I'm gonna weigh it myself to make sure I'm getting the right amount because I'm an addict. I'm sorry, I am. And we're not.
So you travel with your own scale?
Well, at the time I did, because like I said, I've been gypped and when you're an addict, that's all you think of, just how to get, make sure you're getting what you need. And honestly, I can see where I made my mistake, but I'm being honest with you. It was my skeleton measure. So my personal, that's it. And I don't know if Robert would tell you that was my personal as well. Like, I mean, I don't want to call him or anything you can if you want to, but he would tell you that's why I used to pick up.
Oh, no,
every
I'm not going to be
Thursday.
calling Robert because Robert probably has a case of his own.
Right. But I'm saying Robert can tell you too, within 3 days, maybe 2 to 3 days, really, it would have been gone and I would have been back doing it again and again. Now I don't. It was kind of like a stress thing. And
Where did you get your drugs to use today before you came to court?
Just an old friend. I hadn't talked to him since, and it was on Saturday when I knew it was, coming, and I guess I felt, under pressure.
Can I
Yes.
say something? I think the fact that she would actually go out and do the same drugs that she's about to get sentenced for in a couple of days, I think really speaks to the fact that she has a serious addiction problem that I think only rehab can treat. And if you decide that's ISF or SATF or SAFE, we understand that, but I think she really needs treatment.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is there anything else for me to say? All right, this is what the court is going to do. I see that she hasn't been to prison before. I'm going to find her guilty, sentence her to 6 years in the prison, the therapeutic community. There's to be no contact with Robert Marble, give her credit for any time served, and I'll retain jurisdiction.
Okay.
All right. And you can explain to her what that means. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. I'll tell them. So here's the thing. When I say that I'm going to retain jurisdiction, what that means is they're going to take you to prison. If you're following the rules at the prison, if you're working on yourself, because they have programs at the prison, your attorney can file a motion. It's called shock probation. Back when I was growing up, they would have scared straight programs. So shock probation is sort of a scared straight program. So hopefully when you go to prison, you will clear your mind.
Yes.
The drug use or the addiction that you have, the craving that you have will be lifted. And if you are doing what you're supposed to do at the prison, if there are no bad reports at the prison, when your attorney comes back for a request for shock probation, I will strongly consider it. So while you're at the prison, you have 180 days. That's when he needs to bring it back before me before that time period. So you're going to do 6 months. And if you are doing well, if there are no write-ups against you, then the court will strongly consider giving you probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So, well, I mean, these are going to be choices that you make. It's going to be completely up to you whether or not I strongly consider giving you probation. Your attorney will explain it to you further, but any programs that they have at the prison, like the therapeutic community, to address your issue, you need to take it. I know they have parenting classes at the jail. I don't know how long the transfer will be, but you need to take advantage of that. When you see people come before me and they've gone to anger management class, they've done parenting classes, they've availed themselves of everything at the jail and everything at the prison, that is what you need to do. You need to immediately sign up for it. If for some reason there's overcrowding and they don't give it to you, it would be better for you to have signed up for it than to just throw up your hands and say, I'm not trying. Do you understand?
Yes.
And next time, if you have a case before any judge, don't use before coming to court. You understand? But I do appreciate your honesty, but you're going to have to get your life in order. Otherwise, children is going to be without their mom. You understand? All right. Good luck to you.
A defendant on deferred adjudication for injuring an elderly person stands before Judge Boyd. Her probation officer says she has a pattern of refusing to take responsibility.
It was fine. I didn't have no other choice. So I would have to figure out.
No. We're not here because you said it was just fine. We're here because you're on deferred adjudication for injuring someone who's an elderly person. That's why you're here. You're not on probation because he placed you on probation. You're not on probation because he committed a crime and you're taking the time for him. You're here because of your actions. Oh, so here's the thing. When someone says hello, there's usually a response back. So let me just tell you what's going on. You're being rude and disrespectful to your probation officer. You act like you're not on probation. When I say there's to be no contact, there's to be no contact. And now you're using profanity towards the probation officer like you're not on probation and that this is somehow his fault. It is not. It's all your fault. You're here because you're on deferred adjudication for injuring someone who's an elderly person. That's why you're here. You're not on probation because he placed you on probation. You're not on probation because he committed a crime and you're taking the time for him. You're here because of your actions and you're acting as though none of this is your fault. This is all your fault, 100%.
I'm not acting like none of it's my fault, and I take accountability for what I've done.
No, you have not taken accountability. Did you take accountability for using profanity towards him?
No, I didn't.
And I don't know why people think that when you're in a situation where you should be using logic to find what are using your cognitive skills to decide how I'm going to proceed with this, instead, you go after your probation officer. And the probation officer, let's be honest, every defense attorney will tell you a probation officer holds your life in their hands. Because you know what? Let's say you're supposed to report to probation at 9 a.m. and you end up reporting at 9:05. Guess what? You have not reported at 9 a.m. A probation officer can say, hey, that's a no report. But sometimes they may take sympathy on you and say, I realize what's going on. They're here. But they don't have to do that.
Yes.
And you using profanity towards a probation officer is not helping your case at all.
And I understand that. Then the reason why I did, and I didn't, I just said the F word because he called me a liar. And when I didn't lie to him about any situation that was going on, I sent them all the information from my legal aid lawyer. I sent them everything. He even gave me his personal number for me to contact him. When I had to go to the emergency room and had to get a blood transfusion, he even offered to take me there. He called.
This is not your blood. This is not about your blood.
I know it's not about my blood, but it's he basically, when I went to go see him, he was telling me that I lied to him, which I never lied to him about anything.
No. This starts with you wanting to go to a location where I said you are not allowed to have contact. That's where all of this came up. Then everything snowballs into something else.
Yes, ma'am. And I did exactly what you told me to. I didn't go to that location. I filed my police reports. I did everything that I could do without going to that location.
All right, so then that was it. I don't know. What do you expect him to do? Like, I like for people to just put their cards on their table. Sometimes people are like, judge, but I like everybody to have an understanding. So you go to him because you want to go to a location and retrieve items when I told you couldn't go to that location. So we're back to the point. What did you want him to do?
I asked him, was there any assistance or any way that I could? He told me, I don't know. He told me he didn't know, he couldn't help me. So I didn't have no other choice but to call the police, make a police report. I had my daughter, she's 16 years old, to go there. When she went there, she took pictures of everything that was outside.
All right, so again, what did you want him to do? He said, hey, I don't know, there's nothing I can do for you.
When I contacted Miss Adams, she told me to ask my probationer if there's any assistance that he can help me or provide without going to that location.
And he's saying no.
And he said no. And I told him I don't have no other choice. My children is 16 and 18. They didn't have the money. They don't have money for you all. My daughter just quit her job because no one was able to take her to work. So I didn't have nobody else to help me get
So again, I don't know how this translates into you using profanity against him. He's like, I can't help you. And honestly, it's not his job to help you get your things. Really, you know what a probation officer's job really is? And they'll correct me if I'm wrong, but their job is to make sure that you abide by your conditions. Everything else that they're doing is just extra, but that's not their job. It's not, for example, if you can't pay your utilities, it's not their job to find places for you to pay utilities. They'll do it. They'll say, here's some places that you can call. But that's not his job. And if he tells you, I can't help you with getting your things, again, we're back to the point. He says, I can't help you. So what do you want him to do? He's like, I can't help you.
And
how does that translate into using profanity against him? And then telling him, sending him an email, telling him all this is his fault and it's on his shoulders. It's not. All of this happened because of you. Guess what? You can't go to that location because you injured an elderly person. That's why it's all your fault. And there are consequences for all our actions.
It is. And I communicated with him. I told him everything. I sent every case number. I even sent him my legal aid information. I sent everything. I tried to do everything the right way before it even went out of hand.
But see, here's what you don't understand, and you're not internalizing what I'm saying. He is telling you, I can't help you with that. And you still keep going back to him. He's already told you, I can't help you with that. Giving him numbers to your legal aid, giving him numbers to this person saying, we're trying to help her get her things. He can't help you with that. His whole role is to supervise you on probation. That's it. He can't say, you know what I'm going to do? I tell you what, let me go over there and get your things for you. He can't do that. That's not his job. Now, if he offers to do that, great, but he doesn't have to. He has told you more than once, I cannot help you with that. I still don't understand how that goes and translates into you using profanity against him. His job is hard as it is. And then to have somebody come in and use profanity against them, that's an issue. And then to have you go into that location when you know you're not supposed to, that's an issue.
I never did go to the location. I didn't. I had to call the police from a different location.
All right, so you called the police and then what happened?
I made the police report. I went down to the property. I also went down to 315, the headquarters, to fill out all the information because the day I was arrested, everything was stolen. My car, my credit cards, everything. So I'm trying to do everything that I have to do the best way that I can, the right way.
All right, the right way is not using profanity against your probation officer. That's not the right way. The right way is not being disrespectful. And you know what? This whole thing with the injury to the elderly, where are the anger management? You do have an anger problem because when people tell you no, you can't accept that. You take it to 100. He said, I can't help you with that. And then you use profanity against him. You're calling him all sorts of names. Nobody likes to be called out there, give a name.
I didn't call him out his name. I just said it was fine. I didn't have no other choice. So I would have to figure it out.
No. We're not here because you said it was just fine. Where is the officer? All right. So you're Officer Wolf?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Are you able to go to her former location and get her items for her? No.
No, ma'am.
That's your answer, no. Are you able to file a police report for her so she can get her items?
No, ma'am.
So he can't do that. So what do you want from him?
I have to do it on my own. So if there's something he can help me with, and then that's
Well, see, that's the thing. Now, when you're before me, and you're looking at potentially going to prison, now you're like, oh, well, he can't help me with that. He's told you that. Be an adult, solve your own problems. This is supposed to be problem solving. That's why you're on probation, for anger management issues, because you can't problem solve. I don't know, maybe you never were taught to problem solve, but if he's telling you, no, he can't do that, that's not in his job description, then there's no need to use profanity against him. He's told you, I can't do it.
Judge, if I could
Yes.
speak for a minute. Throughout my time working with Ms. Holmes, it's been pretty apparent that she has a pattern of not taking responsibility or accountability for her behavior. This last incident just kind of made it painfully obvious how there's a deeper issue.
Mhm.
There's a heart issue. Until she can get her heart right, this pattern of behavior is going to continue for her throughout her life.
Mhm.
And she's going to continue to be a danger to herself, to the community, to her victim, everybody. She needs to get her heart right and realize that choices and actions have consequences, good and bad, intended and unintended, anticipated, unanticipated. And until she gets her heart right and realizes that, this is just going to continue.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming down.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to have to start using your cognitive skills and your problem solving. That's it. When somebody tells you they can't do something, then they can't do it. If somebody tells you, no, I can't take you to the grocery store today, figure it out. He is not really responsible for anything outside of his job description. If he does something outside of his job description, that's just probation officers being nice.
And I understand that, but why would you offer to try to help me when I'm asking for some type of help, and then you tell me you can't help me?
Yeah, he said no. Let me just tell you, here's a perfect example. And I've been in situations where people have told me no. And my thing is, I want you to not send me place to place. If the answer is no, just tell me no, and I'll figure it out. He told you no. If I ask him right now, like for example, I had to rush here this morning because I don't like being late. And I was filling in for somebody else on another matter. And guess what? My tank is at a 4th. I don't like it being at a 4th. Now, would somebody go, excuse me, could you go and put gas in my car for me? They're going to say no. Now, what do I do with that? Do I use profanity against him? How dare you not go put gas in my car? He's just told me no. So guess what? As an adult, I got to figure it out. That's it. You got to figure it out. And your figuring it out is, let me get angry with somebody and use profanity against them. And maybe they'll then become so afraid of something and say, okay, we'll do that for you. Not his job. And I can tell you right now, if you don't start treating people with respect, one, you're not going to get anywhere, because when you disrespect people, they don't want to help you.
And I'm just
And number two,
with respect.
no, you did not. That's the thing. You're still in this clouds. Like these are not, I don't know how your relationships are outside of this world, but in this world, you need to treat people with respect, whether you respect them or not. Like right now, you can hate my guts all you want to, but you had better say your honor or judge. You understand? You better not be calling me out of my given name, and you better not be calling probation officers out of your given name. I'm sure he told you, no, I cannot help you. And when somebody says, no, I cannot help you with something, maybe you want to ask them again. You ask them again. If you ask the third time, you're begging. And he's already told you he can't help you with that. That is not his job. That is outside his job description. If he decides to help you outside of his job description, just him being nice. You need to figure it out. The same way people have children, and you figured out how to have children, you need to figure out how to get the rest of your life together. You're on probation because of your actions. And honestly, the reports I received, I will tell you, when I received that report, I told them, file a motion to revoke. And then probation came to me and said, Judge, could we do a compliance hearing and have her come in? And I'm like, yeah, if you all want to do a compliance hearing, we will do a compliance hearing. So this is the last time I'm having this conversation with you, telling you, you need to be respectful to people and you need to learn how to problem solve. How old are you?
33.
You're 33-year-old. You figured out how to get all of those piercings, right? You figured out how to get the nails. You figured all of that out on your own. You need to figure this out on your own. Is there anything else you need from me?
No.
All right, does she need to, when is her next report date? And are you employed?
You told me I had 30 days to find a job. I had a business, but all my stuff is gone.
All right, so that'll be a no. So Ms. Ferguson?
Yeah.
Recall her for the week of August 11th, and I'm gonna see how you're doing on probation. What date?
I can do that Monday, the 11th.
All right, so you're coming back on August the 11th for me to get a report on what's going on. If you'll give her a reset form. Probation,
Yes, Judge.
when is her next report date with you?
I have an appointment set right now, from Officer Wolf's information. She was supposed to be reporting.
He wrote on the paper July 9th.
Twice a month.
July 9th?
That's what he wrote on the paper.
All right, so she said her next her next appointment date with him is July 9th. All right,
I have to confirm, Mr. Wolf was mentioning that the GPS is supposed to have been installed as well, but that she did not have it.
all right.
I don't have nowhere to stay, nor address.
It was ordered June 5th. And it was supposed to be done through work release waive the fees for partial for employment purposes only.
All right, so if you all could give her a list of places for her to find housing. And then we're going to come back on August 11th. And by August 11th, you need to have the GPS on. All right, thank you.
Judge Boyd gave her a final warning and set another court date. The question now is whether she will change course or face a motion to revoke.